Hi class, I just wanted to give you a little bit of video feedback to go with your rubric scores and your checklist. You'll want to go through those very carefully and make sure that you make those corrections that are needed. But I'm going to go through and point out some of those, but also some of the things that are a little not as easy to put into words sometimes for you. So looking through here, I do really like the logo mic. I think that's working well for you. Double check the size of some of your videos in photography because the files might be loading slowly. I didn't think that this was linked up, so make sure this email is linked up to your Gmail. And how about a contact page that has a form? That was something on the list, and a mailing list is not the same. They're not contacting you as much as giving you their email. So that's something you'll want to do. This, as you're looking at this, it's not responsive layout. So that means that as I change the shape of or reduce the screen size, it's still staying the same. Take a look at some of the spaces, the shape that this makes. Okay, on the right, it's great. You're left aligned here. That's important. On the mobile view for this page, you'll want to go in and check it out because it's leaving a space just because of the way it's wrapped. And you can correct that on the mobile without doing anything to the desktop. So you have this. I'm glad that you reworded that, as we've said. And okay, contact is going there. Try and get it to center in the page when we do that instead of up at the top like that. It may be a little different when we get into full view. But you might be able to bring that down a little bit, the anchor point. And I believe those are linked up. These are just beautiful, and I do want to see some asset guides. You know, you could talk about what the project was, what your role was, and maybe the gear that you used. That would be interesting to people. I do like the way that is laid out. That's the thing that I'm looking for here, okay, are the asset guides. Let's see. All right. Okay, so on the mobile view, you just want to take a look at that, right? Some overlapping, some line breaks, maybe. Okay. Okay. This is doing well. You can put a little bit of an asset guide. If you're using the same camera, you can group them, you know, and just say, you know, what you use for that series, what your role was. You may have been location director for all I know. I know that you're the cinematographer, but, you know, that's the situation. So this space, and then you really only need about 2 paragraphs. There's a lot of scrolling when everybody gets to their mobile, and most people have to edit their mobile about section. We asked for 3 paragraphs so that you always have enough, and you can always edit some and still, you know, use the other part later or on your desktop. Okay, so don't be afraid to edit your mobile to cut. So there's less scrolling. Yeah, okay, so I think you can see what you want to take care of. Double check and make sure that this is not just my browser, that this is doing it on yours. All right, terrific start. It's going to look great. I do like that logo. Hey, Jonathan, this, you know, looks really great. I love the purple that you've used here. You know, it does feel like we're entering a different world. it gets a little, it doesn't seem to fit your aesthetic, your brand, your videos here. So that's something to keep in mind. Maybe when we enter this, this becomes less important. I love it, but you want to think about that. Okay, once you enter, how do you bring that into the page and your brand, but yet be consistent with your style of photography? And if this is what you love, then maybe your photography needs to go in that direction a little bit, coloring and things like that. Let's try a font that's not so bold, so it's a little easier to read. The kerning is pretty tight here. Okay, that makes it difficult too. But other than that, you've done a great job with your asset guides. And same thing with this text, okay, but you've broken it up. It's a good amount. Nice. A little space there. You probably could push one line here and bring this down a little. It's a little tight. Then that would be in the right place. Try not to get a photo in the car. There are just certain places that are, you know, the thing about cars is that they do have great lighting because they're kind of, you know, filtered, and it's sometimes gets an amazing shot. But try and look for natural light from a window without, you know, the seat belts and things like that. All right. And you can just use your cell phone usually and find something if you know, watch your backgrounds and so forth. Great. I do like this. Let's take your personal phone number off. And that's for everybody. It's not something that you'll probably want anyone to have over time. But I do really like this. Now, see, you've gotten this faded a little bit. Here you have the overlay. Maybe you need an overlay here. As much as I love it, it's just competing with this. And maybe you can bring this up in that situation. Of course, you have to have room for that. All right, let's check your mobile. Okay, so you can see that maybe you wanted it like that, but that's how that's playing out. This needs to be cut down. And probably bring that up a little bit. This is a good place to put your logo or your actual name. I do like that. Okay. That lettering is just a little hard to read. I mean, if it's large, it's easier, but okay, make sure this says more on this channel, so okay. Good job with your asset guides. You may want something that's a little wider. You know, we've got this space here. It'd be nice if it aligned a little bit. This is more than a couple of lines, so go ahead and left align it, treat it like paragraph text. You can also make it shorter on your mobile if you like, but let's see, one of the things I'm not finding is your social media. Do make sure that you have one or two, at least LinkedIn. All right, terrific job. You know, it's really coming together very well. I'm excited to see what everyone is doing just by week 3, the end of week 3. So nice work. I can't wait to see this, you know, wrapping up next week. We'll see where you are. You all have grown so fast. All right. One of the things I wanted to note is that I really love this. You know, I love the way this feels. I think landing like this on your site, bringing this up to the top would be really smart. I didn't find asset guides for these, what your role was in these things, you know, what tools you used, Adobe or what have you. Let's take off your personal phone number. And good job, this links up. Again, your number and your copyright is up to date. What I do want to see, you have an About Me here, but I want to see your homepage image move over to your About Me instead of that art that you have there. And then just instead bring this up, like I said. So move this and probably this, unless you really edit it down. Also, this would come up here and wrap differently. Move that image here. Again, go through your home with your cell phone, find a window with some natural light and a plain background, and you're going to be impressed with what you get. All right, or have a friend do that. My daughter is currently in this class, and she had to update some photos the same way. So, okay, yeah, you'll put your image there. This really can come up here, I think, into 2 paragraphs at that point. Let's move your phone number here. It makes it look like the contact isn't last. Let's not have that there. And you do have this down here, so your social, so you don't need to have your social icons up here necessarily. You can just have a nice clean navigation, all right? And this is fine. I noticed that you have this at the bottom of your home page, but that's okay. I'm not looking at that as a duplicate necessarily. It kind of is, but it's nice to have the contact available as well through just one click. All right. Okay, make sure this isn't your home, okay? If it's just an area, that's fine. Again, you're going to have a photo there for your About. Left align body copy. This is a good amount when we get to the mobile because that usually has to be edited. So that's a good amount. It just needs to be left aligned and it's easy to read. It's a good font. This is cropped, or it feels like it's cropped. I don't think this is helping you very much. I think that your image here, yeah, I mean, you could say telling visual stories, or, let's be very direct about what you do. Your tagline is where you're going to put, cinematography, photography, graphics. You don't need to put flyers or posters. You could say social media, but not ads, because graphic design is all those things. Okay, so you don't need to say all of that. I think you can enlarge this a little bit, okay, your logo. And yeah, it's got a terrific start. You just have a couple of sweeping changes that's going to really make a difference. Okay, but do make sure you add your asset guides so you get those points. All right, okay, let's see, where are we? David, I love the simplicity of your site. I'm not sure if this is happening on your browser, so double check and correct that if it is. And this spacing here, I do like how clean the site is, and the navigation is nice and bold. Okay. Yeah, but you can see what's happening there with that particular template. Spacing, but it's easy to read when it's not overlapping. Not hard to fix. Just go in and make those adjustments. I do like that. This wasn't linked up, I don't think, or again, maybe I didn't have a published link and could test it out. Close up this space, right? Okay. You have your LinkedIn down here, and it's linked up just, where your logo is overlapping. So I think you can see exactly what you'll need to do. And let me be sure I'm looking at it full size. I am. Okay. Make sure you update the date in your copyright. Again, I feel like I want to use this as a back arrow, so think about that. I do like the design. I just wish it linked to something logical. Okay. Love the font. So easy to read. Okay. It's great if you can have the same number of lines. Can't always, but you know. The spacing is different because you have different number of lines. So as far as from the space of the actual videos, it would be nice if they were the same amount of spacing, the vertical spacing. Okay. Okay. So a bit of space here. It works given the template has a lot of space, but you know, double check what that bar is doing in the mobile. But yeah, it's nice and clean. Colors work. It's a great solid beginning there, and it'll be wrapped up in a few days. All right? Good job. Okay, Harley. I think with yours, you need a contact form. That's part of the requirement. Let's see, you have your bio and your contact. We want to get into your work a little sooner. Okay, so more like this. This is the main idea, but we're landing here, right? It's a template, I know, but that's what I want you to think about. And then you want to get rid of this, right? This is Wix placeholder. Good job with your copyright date. And seems, I wasn't sure this one was linked up to you. Double check the Instagram. And I will double check it next week. Okay, form would go well here. I don't think these are working. Sometimes maybe they do, but I feel that they're a little distracting, these, okay, the hyphens. They make me feel like I have something on my desktop window. So that's just my recommendation. You can keep them. That is completely up to you. That is just my perspective on that. Okay. Let's center those. Possibly center that header for your mobile so that we have a little bit, this might go bigger too, so we have a little bit of hierarchy there. Eventually you'll want to remove this. You could do it at any time. It's just very common. As is this image. It's a nice image, but it is seen a lot. I never see this. Okay. Do check this space out. And be careful of choosing thumbnails or segments that are aggressive because you don't know who your audience might be, and you may have an audience that you would love to work for that you haven't really, associated with much in the past. And you don't want something that's going to cause them to skip over your work. And angry faces, that's what we normally do. Probably a nice section here. I don't know if you're able to create a thumbnail, if it's just beginning from the beginning of your video, but that is a little more hostile. Interesting colors there. And of course, remove that. And you have 2 lines here. You don't need them both. Okay. Probably a space, 2 paragraphs might be good there. All right. Okay. Check out this page, right? Make sure that everything is loading as it should, right? Okay. I'm really excited about what this class has produced this month. It won't be long and you'll be able to launch your work. And you've come so far in just a few weeks. You're really going to wrap this up next week, and I think you should be very proud of what you've learned and what you've been able to produce. All right? Great job, everybody.